So just to start, we look at the benefits of employee development to the employees themselves first. And having gone through the process of hiring, sourcing, training, just bringing on board the employees, it's good to look at what benefit do we get when we train them, when we develop them, when we give them more skills, when we give them more ability maybe to perform their functions and so on. So one of the benefits of employee development is motivation. And motivation is simply offering development opportunities that can boost that employee's motivation. And these opportunities may not necessarily just be developmental, like we are learning, because we are doing learning and development, but also good salaries, also a good working environment, also the ones we mentioned earlier and said, it is good to motivate the people you are working with by even celebrating their success, and where they have a problem like a demise, visit them and wish them well. Let them know, if you are an employer, let the employee know that you are wishing them well. So it becomes a motivation to the employee, and the employee advances in their performance and they perform better when they are motivated. Then number two, productivity. And under productivity, we are looking at the effect, the positive effect of the skills and knowledge that an employee acquires within this learning and development. These skills will always equip these employees with better ways of handling their work. They'll be good in handling what they have been handling, even if they have handled before. It will boost their experience. And thus, when they are able to efficiently and effectively serve the clients, work with machines, keep records as expected, we say they have improved in their productivity. And just to mention, the KPIs, the key performance indicators. The ones I'm mentioning, for example, serving the clients well. It's a key performance indicator to see whether an employee is working well or not. Then number three, increased employee performance. Do not confuse increased employee performance with productivity. Because when it comes to productivity, we look at quantity and quality. Increased performance, we look at the way this employee has changed their attitude towards their work. We look at how the employee has the necessary knowledge and skills and how they are applying the same in their work. So the way they work using the necessary skills that have been acquired through learning and development, the way they have a good attitude, maybe coming earlier than expected, maybe doing more than what they have been doing, achieving more than what they have been achieving, then we say their performance has been increased. And an increased performance, of course, is also a key performance indicator of productivity. And of course, it might lead to increased profits, of course, increased quantities, and so on. Number four, let's look at alignment with organizational goals. Each organization has goals, and we have said in our previous classes that it is good, especially during the onboarding process, onboarding stage of development, it is good to inform all new employees of the key goals of the institution, what the institution has prioritized and has to achieve within a specific period of time. If this happens and is communicated earlier, then training and development helps learners to align, helps the employees, not learners, employees to align professionally into those goals. If one of the goals is to increase maybe profit margin by 20% within 3 months, then the employee, even if they are new, the employees will know that within the next 3 months, I have to raise 20% of my share so that we increase the profit of the organization. So Learning and development is key when we are helping the employees to align with goals of the organization. Number 5, it is expand knowledge sharing. Expand knowledge sharing. Now, in this case, knowledge of an employee, or what the employee knows, is always referred to as it is like their intellectual property. And you do not have a right as an employer to snatch that intellectual property from an employee. But when you take them through learning and development, when you take them through a process of acquiring other skills, other important knowledge, and maybe it's for free, you are giving them a chance to learn and they are not paying fees. It is because you want them to develop themselves and make good or better workers in the institution. You are likely to attract their knowledge. They will come up with an explanation of what they know. They will show you what they know, and they will share even among each other. They will know that in this institution, nobody is a custodian of knowledge. Nobody owns knowledge for himself or for herself. And when they are now challenged to produce this knowledge, it becomes easier for expanding and just sharing among themselves, and that will be a benefit to the institution. And it's good to foster knowledge sharing, because once it becomes a culture, even this learning and development becomes easier in an institution. Then there is also an aspect of fostering innovation in the workplace. Once we have done number 5, once there is free will, there is freedom of sharing and exchanging knowledge, there is a big likelihood that the workers will start generating new ideas on dealing with maybe the current challenges affecting the institution. People will start looking at which object works best where, which idea works best where, and as they exchange those ideas, they will finally, maybe naturally, come up with new ideas that never existed, and we say they have innovated just for the sake of the company. So, like I have said, it is important that knowledge in the company does not belong to one person, but you don't force, because it's a right to own information. But when you allow employees to exchange ideas, they will now have that space of knowing that the ideas we have as a company are not enough. Let us come up with new ideas. Let us form new ways of doing things. And we say that is innovation. Then number 7, it also improves company processes for the sake of an employee. An employee who is well trained, who is well developed, is able to go through a process of a company without a problem, without interfering with the process itself. It is easier for them to get up with the routine of the institution on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. Maybe if it's a process of production, just knowing that from the raw materials to the final product, these are the stages that a product has to go through, or the materials have to go through for us to get the product. Once they know that, it becomes very easy for them to keep the process going and also to achieve whatever you want them to achieve. Number 8, better working environment. It's good to note that a good working environment is key when it comes to production, when it comes to working. And this may be done by what people look at as giving money, buying, selling, and so on. But sometimes it's not all about buying, selling, buying the equipment, maybe selling what is not necessary, maybe making an office, painting an office, buying chairs. It's okay. But to a big extent, it is important to train the employees on how to use whatever resources that are available, including just making use of the few resources, the limited resources that are available. Just knowing that they are limited, but we have to use them to produce what we want to produce. If you are able to train your employees to get to that extent, then you are good to go. Then it will improve the working environment. When the working environment is good, there will be a positive culture. There will be some positive energy. It will boost morale. It will increase productivity. And of course, it will lead to business success. Number 9 is improved technology proficiency. It is important for us to note that each employee has to understand technology. And that's why we are calling it proficiency, the ability to use technology. And I am aware of some situations where I have worked with people in big offices. They are key supervisors, human resource managers. They don't know technology. They do not appreciate technology. They will keep forcing the juniors to use manual methods, which take a lot of time, which take a lot of resources. You buy very many books for a teacher, for example, to write notes, to write schemes of work, to write, when a teacher can write this in his or her laptop and project it in class so that learners can learn. It is important for each institution, including the learning institutions, to train their employees on how to use technology. This will reduce a lot of wastage, a lot of money that is spent on things that are not important, and also it will manage their time well. Then we have number 10. It also makes onboarding process more effective. For effectiveness of onboarding process, which we said is key in each institution, onboarding starts immediately you employ somebody until when this person leaves the institution. And it involves a lot of training and learning. You have to train so that this process becomes easier. And I think up to there, that is important information for us.